G'day battlers, and today we're going to switch up the pace a little bit because today we're actually going to be taking a look at one of my own tournament recaps, this time a tied Prismatic Cup win that I landed in a tournament hosted by JigglyDad. So if you do want to skip this kind of intro bit, you can skip straight to the battles in the progress bar of the video. I'm going to have all of the timestamps in there so you can skip straight to the battles if you'd like to, but first take a look at my team here. We've got Quagsire, Talonflame and Hypno. These three are like super common. Quagsire is one of the top 2 blue picks that he's used. I think Lantern is a little bit more popular. Talonflame and Hypno are on essentially every single team. Snorlax is another pretty standard pick. I'm not sure if it's the most popular one in that slot, but it's definitely a really popular one. Noctowl is a bit less meta. It's a bit more on the fringe, but it's a really good Pokemon. It's a really bulky flying type. It can take a lot of hits and it can do really well in certain matchups. I don't think I use it too much in this tournament, but I do use it at some point, and it does do fairly well where it lands up. And then Ferrothorn is another one that I don't think I actually used once in this tournament run, but it's kind of there to kind of be a little bit of a threat towards like Quagsires and stuff, because Quagsire's definitely got pretty good matchups like up against my team. Like it's going to be good up against like Talonflame, going to be good up against Noctowl, going to be not that bad up against Hypno because our Hypno is running that Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball moveset, so we really like need to get a Shadow Ball onto Quagsire to do well there. But yeah, that's my team, so let's jump into the battles after you subscribe, of course, because how else are you going to keep up to date with all of the great Silph content coming out over the next month and going to the next cup, which should be released like next week. So yeah, let's jump into the battles. Let's see how we did it. Going into round 1 now, up against FinalBossAJ, and I'm really liking the look of my team up against hers. Quagsire and Talonflame look really strong and only have to avoid really one pick apiece. So Talonflame in Hitmonchan up against the lead. This is a pretty decent spot, and we're just going to go straight for the Flame Charge, try and get it off. But they do get a charge move off first. We shield up in case it was a Thunder Punch, but it is an Ice Punch, so that's not as bad for us, I don't think. We did overtap there, so that Incinerate was not buffed, whereas if we got the Flame Charge off first, then the next thing we got off would have been buffed. So, you know, maybe some room for error there. We get the first shield, and then one more Incinerate, and we get to the next Flame Charge. We're kind of like, okay, I think I can tank one Ice Punch, and then I will be able to get this Flame Charge off, and it'll be up to them whether they want to shield or not. They did sneak a counter through there, so that's a little bit unfortunate for us, really just putting on that extra damage. Do burn a second shield, so now we need to either Incinerate down, which I don't think we're going to do before we get countered down. Unfortunately, maybe if like, you know, a mix of things like we didn't let that counter come through and we got the Incinerate off after we buffed it with Flame Charge, maybe we would have won that matchup, but we swap in Quagsire and get hit by a close combat. Really rough start here, but Hitmonchan finally mudshotted down. See what comes in, it is the Frostlass, so we're kind of going, okay, this is actually really good. Because we were able to get those few mudshots, we're able to get the Stone Edge off here, and now it's just a matter of what's going to be in the back, like whether it's going to be like a Lantern, for example, but we realized that we weren't going to take out Frostlass, so we swapped into Snorlax, and it is actually the Lantern in the back. So essentially, Quagsire is a little bit low, so I'm not sure if Quagsire is going to be able to get to a charge move to kind of take this thing out. So we're farming up a lot of energy here on Snorlax, expecting this to be the Hydro Pump, so we burn a shield because we want to kind of keep ourselves around. It's just a Thunderbolt, so not what we were expecting, but going for the Superpower now. I think we're going to go for the back-to-back Superpower, trying to debuff ourselves enough so that the next charge move they throw will take us out. And then we're kind of thinking that at this point, because after 2 Superpowers going through, Lantern's pretty low, so I think the Lick damage plus the Mudshot damage from Quagsire should be able to take it out. Lantern's charge move coming through now, it's going to take out Snorlax, it's about double debuff. It is the Hydro Pump there, and yeah, because that Lantern is really weak, 2 Mudshots, and that does take out game 1, able to get there in the end. Now Talonflame up against Flygon, this isn't as great of a matchup for Talonflame, but I think we do tend to still win in the one shield. Charge it up for that Flame Charge, and we do get it, but a CMP tie. I think this is only going to be a Dragon Claw from that from the Flygon, so that's not going to do too much at all. They do sneak a Mudshot in there, so it wasn't even a CMP tie, so really unfortunate there, because Flygon just charges up Dragon Claws so fast. First Flame Charge gets shielded, and then one more Incinerate, and we it is another CMP tie. At least hopefully we'll see if another Mudshot does sneak through there. No shield, because again we know we can tank that Dragon Claw. No Mudshot sneaking through there that time, so that is definitely nice to see. Flame Charge goes off, just trying to do as much damage to this Flygon as possible, and actually getting both shields again. So we are now at the 2-0 shield advantage, and because Mudshot doesn't do much damage, I was kind of wondering like, okay, I could burn a shield and then get this next Flame Charge off, and we're going to do that, but no, the swapping to Lantern to make sure Talonflame just goes away. Really well played by the opponent there, but it does mean that their Lantern is now switch locked up against this Quagsire, which is really rough for them, because I'm able to get this Earthquake off, which is going to do tons of damage. I don't think it's going to quite take out the Lantern. Doesn't quite. A couple Mudshots, or wait, 1 Mudshot of extra energy for us, which is, I mean, it's great. Swap into Snorlax to try and tank any energy from this Flygon, because I'm kind of wanting to keep Quagsire for later on. because again, I really like Quagsire's matchups up against their team. So swapping to Snorlax just try and soak up as much energy from this Flygon as possible, and then hopefully eventually get to a Body Slam that would take out the Flygon. Eat an Earth Power, but we're still going to be able to hang on, get to this Body Slam, and this will take out Flygon, because Flygon is a really squishy Pokemon. So Flygon's going to go down here. I can't quite swap out to Quagsire, so I'm hoping whatever comes in takes us out quickly, and it is the Hitmonchan. So actually really lucky there, because it means they barely got any energy. We do still have a shield, so we actually only need to get this Earthquake, and then we can burn a shield on whatever this is. Even if it's another close combat, we can shield happily. It is just an Ice Punch. I don't think they really wanted to debuff themselves to get even more nuked by this, but Earthquake going through, I think it is going to take out the Hitmonchan. Oh, it doesn't quite. A couple more mud shots required, and there we go. Down goes Hitmonchan just, and we do take out round 1 2-0, or 2-0 so far. We've obviously still got a third round to go here. We've got Quagsire up against Flygon, and I think we're just going to go straight for the Earthquake. Oh, no, charging up the energy and then catching the move onto the Snorlax. Snorlax, a really tanky Pokemon, so can definitely just eat, like, you know, Snorlax can eat 1,000 Dragon Claws. We do get the Hitmonchan coming out here, so maybe this wasn't the best play. Like, I knew this was probably going to come, but I was kind of thinking I could still get a fair bit of damage off from the Snorlax. So we go for the Superpower, it does go through, try and reduce our defense so that Hitmonchan wouldn't be able to farm up as much energy. We do sneak an entire Incinerate there, which is really great for us. Eat an Ice Punch, that's fine, and then another Incinerate is going to be needed to take out Hitmonchan. We've got a bit of energy now, and here is Lantern in the back, so we're like, okay, we're not in a great spot, and we can't swap into Quagsire yet, because we're still switch locked into Talonflame, so we go for the Brave Bird, just to try and bring down the switch timer a little bit, get for one more Incinerate, and now, oh, two more, oh, we're going for the back-to-back Brave Bird, oh, okay, I was not expecting this to happen, but here we go, Brave Bird going through now, we'll see if another shield does come up, no shield, swapping to Quagsire, a couple more mud shots would have been needed to take it out, but because we still had both shields intact, we can use one shield here, it is the Hydro Pump, and they didn't have enough energy for 2. You can't store 2 charge moves on Lantern with a 100 energy cap, so we knew we were pretty safe there. So the opponent swaps into Flygon so that we couldn't farm them down. They do still have both of their shields, so this is looking pretty rough for us, to be honest. Go for the first Stone Edge here, just trying to get those shields out, and then we're just going to go for the Earthquake. Hail Mary, if this Earthquake goes through, we will win the battle, but if it doesn't, it's pretty much just locking in our GGs, unfortunately. Yeah, it does get the shield there, so pretty unfortunate, and we can't swap into Talonflame yet. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, we really need to burn the shield here, because otherwise, I mean, Talonflame's not going to do anything. So we just need to swap into Incinerate Talonflame to try and catch the move, but unfortunately, they did have it straight away. I wasn't expecting it to come that quick, so yeah. Either Dragon Claw, and we're going to be taken out here, and that is GG's. We do win round 1 2-1. And going into round 2 up against Quest 2 Master, again, we've got the teams on the right-hand side. A little bit of an interesting team, like lots of sort of neutral coverage there, and we have Snorlax up against Shiftry. So this is a dominating matchup if we can land the Superpower. So I think we're actually going to go straight for it, try and take this Shiftry out as soon as possible. So first charge move is going to come through. It is going to do a fair bit because Shiftry has a really high attack stat. So yeah, we are going straight for the Superpower, knowing that Shiftry was kind of outpacing us anyway. So even if we went for a Body Slam, it might not be enough. So we're hoping for no shield, but unfortunately the shield does come up. Swapping into Talonflame now. Looks like there was a little bit of lag there. We might have could maybe gotten another Incinerate onto that, onto the Shiftry, but doesn't really matter there. Go for the Brave Bird. Just trying to do as much damage to that Quagsire as possible, and it does go through. So at this point, we're like, okay, I think that I can shield, and maybe 2 more Incinerates will do it, take out the Quagsire before it can get another move off. So 1 Incinerate, and at this point I'm like, oh no, it's not enough, it's not enough. Oh no, we have to double shield the Talonflame, which we were not expecting to have to do there. Really unfortunate. That Quagsire barely hanging on. On the bright side, we do get a full extra Incinerate of energy, so hey, not the end of the world. Go for the Flame Charge, but we've basically just let them get a full Incinerate, so it's kind of not, like, we're just throwing extra things that are not going in our favor this battle. It's really just all going wrong. Go for the Brave Bird, again, another Incinerate sneaking through, so they have got a lot of energy on their back now. Burn the final shield with that Brave Bird, and now they're just going to Incinerate down. Oh, actually, this time we're able to sneak in the Incinerate there, so at least we're kind of getting back to normal, but hey, this Flame Charge is definitely going to take us out, and we're going to bring in that Quagsire, because Quagsire is basically just doing a really good spot up against that Talonflame. They didn't really have to swap out there into Shiftry, because we'd already, their Talonflame was buffed, so I think if they threw a Brave Bird, it would have taken out my Quagsire, but hey, it doesn't really matter because Shiftry is getting Leaf Blade off here, and that is just a one-hit KO. Quagsire is out of there. So losing the first game of round 2, going into game 2 now, and again, a really bad lead with the Talonflame up against Quagsire. Quagsire can really just outpace Talonflame. We would not be able to get to a Brave Bird before Quagsire could get a Stone Edge off. They farmed up a lot of energy there and swapping into the Talonflame, trying to time our moves so that we don't let them get any free turns, so that our Body Slams go off right at the end of their Incinerate animation. And we're doing a pretty good job here. It's down to half health. No matter what this is, it isn't going to take out Snorlax, so we'll let it come through. It is the Flame Charge, so it's going to buff its attack. And we will be able to get to another Body Slam before a Charge Move comes through. Really putting a lot of pressure on this Talonflame to shield. I think they're kind of forced to shield if they want to keep it around, and they do. And I think at this point they could potentially Incinerate down. Do go for the Charge Move, so we're going to let it go. Snorlax was not going to be winning this matchup anyway. About it, anyway you slice it, Talonflame was going to be winning. It was just a matter of whether we let them get energy or not. Now, we have double Flyer, and they have a Quagsire in the back. So this is a bit of a rough spot for us, but I feel like with enough energy on our side, we could maybe get through it. Go for the Flame Charge, they let it go down, and we try and instant swap into this Noctowl, knowing that the Quagsire was in there, but they instant swapped at the same time into Shiftry, so maybe they were trying to catch a move onto Shiftry and then letting Quagsire dominate, but hey, it really doesn't matter for us because we're in a great spot here with Noctowl up against Shiftry. Foul Play did a little bit more damage than we were prepared for, so I was like, okay, maybe we kind of have to get a Charge Move off here and then leave it a little bit to farm, but I did too many bubbles there, so we did take out the Shiftry, get for the first Sky Attack, but they do get the Charge Move off first, perhaps the CMP tie, so we decided to burn the first shield here so that we can get our Charge Move off, because it's really about trying to get as much damage onto that Quagsire as possible, and I feel like having that Charge Move is worth the shield, so we actually landed, which does heaps of damage. Quagsire's getting fairly low, and now I'm kind of thinking, okay, where do we use the shield? If I let this come through, I might be able to get like Flame Charge off on the Talonflame and then buff our attack so that our Incinerates are doing even more damage and then hopefully get to another Charge Move. Kind of got fingers crossed here at this point though. So Flame Charge gets our attack buffed. We do still have one shield. Incinerate's going through. We only need one more Incinerate. This Charge Move goes off and we do win it. So we shield up the Charge Move. I don't think that Quagsire can have two Stone Edges back to back, because it goes over the 100 energy cap, so we do get the Flame Charge off. This will take out Quagsire, a little bit of an overkill, but we didn't want to go for the Incinerate that would have taken 5 turns, and we now 1-1 in round 2, in battle 2 of round 2, yeah. But we've now got a pretty rough spot up against this Dugong here. Neither of their charge moves like we really want to get hit with, so we're kind of thinking, okay, we could probably let one Icy Wind come through, because now that we've Flame Charge buffed, the Icy Wind will debuff us back to normal, so then we could probably come out of this matchup okay. So don't shield, and it is the Water Pulse. So we're like, oh no, that is not what we wanted at all. This puts us in a really rough spot, because especially in this kind of team composition, like our team up against their team composition, having the alignment is a really important thing. So I'm kind of going, okay, now Noctowl kind of needs to be a savior in the back, so I'm a little bit worried about a Quagsire at this point. So going for the Body Slam now, making sure that Dugong couldn't get another charge move off. I'm not sure if this is actually going to take out the Dugong at this point, because the Icy Wind debuffs does just quite do it, which is nice. Here's that Incinerate, Talonflame, not bring out the Quagsire, so I'm still a little bit worried that Quagsire is going to pop out of the back. They're just hiding it there, but go for the first Body Slam. We are attack debuffed, so it's not going to do as much damage as it would. They do get the charge move off first, and we're kind of like, Snorlax is pretty low at this point, but if we shield, we could get a Body Slam, but not worth it. Let the Flame Charge come through. In comes that Noctowl, and at this point, we're like, okay, we've got 2 shields to burn. We could probably let this Flame Charge come through and then keep our shields for the Quagsire that's probably in the back. So we're like, okay, let the first one come through. And now it's kind of dawning on us that these Incinerates are doing a lot of damage now that they've been buffed. And it's like, oh dear, if we made a huge mistake here, go for the first Sky Attack, get a shield, and we're like, yeah, we're going to get Incinerated down. Going down with both shields, and we didn't even see the Pokemon in the back. I think we just ended the recording there early. But anyway, we're going into round 3 now up against GaryLVT. We are down 1-1, well, down. We're now 1-1 in the tournament, obviously because of the title of this video. You can probably guess what's going to happen in the next 2 rounds, but anyway, we are here up against Gary. He's got a pretty interesting team with Mawile, which I'm really interested to see. Now, we lagged a little bit there and we actually lost a Confusion, which is really unfortunate for us because I'm pretty sure my Hypno wins CMP. So we would have kind of been able to force the first decision on their part. And we let them sneak in a Confusion there, which is really unfortunate. But going for this Shadow Ball, going, okay, we need to come back from this sort of lost Confusion standpoint, and they do shield it. So really unfortunate. They're probably going to get a Shadow Ball off at this point, but we didn't want to go down to shield advantage, disadvantage, let the Shadow Ball come through, get this Thunder Punch off before we go down, which is kind of just some nice chip damage. And then we're going to bring in Snorlax because Snorlax is going to do pretty well there. They actually burn the shield, which is a really interesting move. They definitely didn't have to do that because I was nowhere close to a Shadow Ball, but we now have the shield advantage and we're able to bring in the Snorlax. Snorlax is going to be doing a lot of damage here and we don't have to worry about that moveset. The swap into Hitmontop coming through, and we kind of needed some more time to think, so we threw the Body Slam to just try and do some chip damage. Swap into the Talonflame now. We know that Talonflame is going to be able to win this matchup if we burn one shield, because we don't want to get by a Stone Edge at any means. So yeah, shield up, get a few more incinerates through. I think we could get one. I think we probably clicked the flame charge a little bit early there. We could have farmed a little bit more energy, but hey, playing it safe. We already lost our Hypno, so we needed to we knew we were kind of catching up. So here comes that Hypno. One more incinerate is all we need to get to that flame charge. So we're hoping that this is just an elemental punch, and it is the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. But hey, we're still going to get there, I think. If we do get there, this will take out the Hypno, and then it is just going to be whatever Pokemon is lying in the back for this very weak Talonflame plus Snorlax to deal with. And it is actually the Talonflame, so we get one Incinerate off. The switch clock didn't let us swap. And now the Snorlax versus Talonflame. Talonflame is almost at a Flame Charge here. They didn't get the extra Incinerate through, which is great, but I don't think we're going to be able to win this one out. Body Slam goes through, and we need to get another Body Slam to win this one, and yeah. Talonflame is going to take us out here, so they're taking the first game of round 3, so I'm going to need to win both of the next 2 battles to win round 3, so going in, we've got the Snorlax up against the Gengar, which is a fantastic matchup here, expecting them to swap out straight away, and they actually aren't swapping out. So this is kind of instantly making me think that this Gengar is going to have Focus Blast, and it's going to try and Focus Blast surprises later on, so I'm not too worried at this point. I'm like, okay, that's going to be 1 shield and we win this matchup out. They end up swapping out into Tangrowth, so I'm kind of second guessing, like, okay, maybe it's Focus Blast, maybe it's not. I'm going to assume that it is Focus Blast and kind of hold on to a shield for later on. Throw the Superpower to try and do a chunk of damage onto that Tangrowth and then swap into Hypno. Hypno isn't too worried about Tangrowth's charge moves, but it will take a lot of damage kind of over time. So actually Power Whip does over half there, so really scary. A little bit of mutual lag there. We didn't like gain or lose anything there particularly. Burn the shield here. Don't want to get hit by that second power to take us out. And I think we did unfortunately hit the Thunder Punch. I think we probably could have Confusion down, but also because of that lag, it's kind of hard to tell how much energy that Tangrowth had. They actually do decide to burn the shield, so I'm thinking that they must have had energy, but they actually go down, so really unfortunate play on their part. They definitely would have liked to have kept the shield if that meant that they would have, I mean, if they weren't going to get the charge move off anyway from Tangrowth. Here comes the Talonflame, and we know that the Gengar is still lying in the back, so we're kind of thinking maybe it is a Focus Blast, because I guess it would still be taking a lot of damage from the Confusions from Hypno, but still, going to bring in the Quagsire here. Quagsire is basically walling this Talonflame. I'm kind of getting ready for a quick swap into Gengar, so I'm kind of like preparing to instant swap into Snorlax, but it's kind of not coming quite yet. So we're waiting for the Incinerate animation to come through, and they do throw the charge move, so we're like, okay, we kind of need the shield for that potential Focus Blast in the back. So let Quagsire go down, bring in Snorlax, we're going to be able to lick it down the Talonflame, and here's that Gengar. We do still have that shield, so we're going to shield up here in case it is that Focus Blast, and even if it isn't, we're going to be able to lick down. And we called it correctly, it is the Focus Blast. That was actually a pretty huge call on my part, keeping that shield, but it really worked out there. So going to the next battle now, we're now 1-1, and definitely not expecting to see the Gengar pop up again in this set of 3, but leading this Snorlax into Talonflame, charging up again, throwing the Body Slam right at the end of the Incinerate animation to try and get as much bang for our buck as possible. We're kind of just not letting them get extra bang for their buck. But bring that Talonflame down to half health. Snorlax is going to be able to tank this charge move no matter what it is. Flame Charge, all good. And I think we're going to try and get to another Body Slam. Even though Talonflame is going to be able to get to their charge move first, they're going to win the CMP there. They always are going to be winning that. We decide to shield up here, knowing we have our Body Slam, kind of wanting to win the switch advantage back. Get ourselves in the sort of advantageous position. Go for the Body Slam, and we do get the shield, so it's still 1-1 shields. They get the first Incinerate, 2 Incinerates, and they need 1 Incinerate there. Sorry about that, there was a messenger message that popped up. Swap into the Talonflame now, knowing that a Brave Bird is probably going to come through here, but I kind of feel like Hypno is going to be our important man in this battle, so we let it happen, let it go down, and get a little bit of energy on the Hypno. And it is now Hypno with 1 shield up against both of their Pokemon and 1 shield, so really looking rough here. But here comes a Hitmontop, and they swap into Hitmontop, which is a really interesting swap there. Instant swap into Mawile as well, so I'm like, okay, maybe we can do this. Hypno going for the Shadow Ball now. Kind of hoping that there's no shield that comes up on the Mawiles, and we do see the shield, so this is like really like, uh-oh. We're going to need to get to a Shadow Ball here, and then we could maybe Confusion down with a shield in tow on Hitmontop. So I'm going to gamble and hope this is a power-up punch from the Mawile, and it is, which is going to do basically no damage to Hypno. If it was like a play rough or something, that could have been really rough for us, but luckily we called it correctly again, really making some just really good calls here. Land the Shadow Ball, and now here's that Hitmontop. We are going to be able to Confusion this Hitmontop down before it can get 2 charge moves, and it needs to get to 2 because we still have a shield, so burn our shield here on the first charge move. It is that Stone Edge, and we actually tapped on the Thunder Punch there, but I don't think we needed it, but this Thunder Punch is really going to seal the deal. Throw this, and then 1 more Confusion will probably take out the Hitmontop. Maybe 2 more. Yeah, okay, 1 more was enough, and that is GG's on round 3. And so we're now going to the finals up against calidadQ, and these are going to be the most the most crazy battles of the video, I promise you. We basically need to win this battle to get the dub. They swap out into Hypno there, straight from Drapion, which is a bit interesting, so I'm kind of expecting it to be an Ice Fang Aqua Tail, so I thought it would be a decent matchup against us, but they swap out anyway into Hypno, so we're able to swap into our Snorlax, which is, again, a pretty good matchup. We're able to tank that Elemental Punch. There's no way that this Hypno is going to be going for the Shadow Ball. If they manage to get to like a Focus Blast or something and surprise us, then it's obviously GG's to us, but tanking another Ice Punch, we're charging up a fair bit of energy here, almost at 2 Body Slams. We actually do get there, but I was actually more worried about timing it at the end of the Confusion animation rather than like getting to 2 back-to-back Body Slams. Getting some extra Elixir in, go for the Body Slam before we get Confusion down, because we're actually getting pretty close to going down here. Another Body Slam, getting shielded, so we're now at the 2-0 shield advantage, which is always a really nice spot to be, especially with Talonflame and Hypno that both operate really well when you have a bit of an energy advantage. So bringing Talonflame in here is that Chestnut, and at first I was like, oh wow, this is like an awesome matchup, they must have expected something else, but they're chunking us because they have Smackdown as a charge move, so we're like, oh, get out of here, go, go, go. Bringing Hypno, able to Confusion down alongside that Flame Charge to take out Chestnut. Talonflame is definitely a little bit worse for wear now, that it was hit by like two Smackdowns. And now it's up against Hypno, up against the Drapion, which is a bit of a rough spot. Shadow Ball's not a great move because it has the Dark typing, and we know that that's going to have Crunch. Well, we're assuming it's going to have Crunch. We're assuming the moveset's going to be Aqua Tail Crunch because that's like the most standard moveset. And it wasn't Aqua Tail bait at first. We're like, okay, maybe they don't have Crunch. Maybe it was a bait. We don't really know at this stage, but we still want to play it safe because we just need Hypno to get as many Thunder Punches off as possible. Swapping to Hypno on the other side, and they get a charge move off. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to burn the shield here. And it is a Shadow Ball, so really lucky we did. But if that Drapion has a Crunch in the back, we might be donezo. So we swap into Talonflame to tank the charge move from the Hypno, which we really needed so that we can bring our Hypno back in, tank a little bit of energy, or get a little bit more energy, and then win it from there. We did have the Flame Charge, but we wanted that Hypno to survive to be able to bring our Hypno in to get that extra Confusion of damage, or that extra Confusion of energy, because again, we really were a little bit worried that Crunch was going to come through here. Get that extra Confusion, get to the Thunder Punch, and that is game 1 taken in our favor. So we now only have to win one more battle, and we will get the tied win here. Talonflame versus Alolan Raichu was a terrible lead, so we're trying to swap there. Wasn't swapping for a little bit, but we did get out eventually. Snorlax is a really good matchup up against that Alolan Raichu because the Psychic typing, tank or Grass Knot, which actually does way more than I thought it was going to. So at this point, I'm like, oh, this is really rough, and they get their charge move off before us. So we're like, okay, we can't really bring either of our Pokemon in the back here, so we decide to leave Snorlax in, go for the Body Slam, and they actually go for the Wild Charge, which means that their defense is going to be debuffed now. So it was a good thing we CMP tied there because they kind of let it go through, which is, you know, it's great. It's just good to get rid of that Pokemon because it was definitely going to be a little bit problematic. Here's that Drapion again though, and I'm kind of like, okay, we're going to go for the Superpower. It's going to debuff our defense so that again, Drapion gets less chance to farm us because our defense is lowered. It's going to take fewer Ice Fangs to get rid of us, get less energy. So now I'm like, this is a really rough spot to be in. Talonflame isn't in a great spot because Aqua Tails are probably going to be coming through. Hypno's not in a great spot either because Drapion has energy. We're able to tank an Aqua Tail and get this Brave Bird off. I was worried that that Ice Fang going through was going to mean it was going to be GG's because that definitely would have been a lag issue, which would have been problematic. But swapping into the Hypno now that we've burned that last shield, which is awesome. I think we're going to burn a shield no matter what this is because we are still scared of that Crunch coming through. And it is the Crunch, so really good shield there. Going to be able to get an extra few Confusions in because we know they don't have the energy for another Crunch. So yeah, Thunder Punch going through now. I think they might actually still need one more Confusion to take out Drapion. Yeah, going to do one more. And they do get a charge move off. So if this is Crunch, it could be a little bit rough for us. Ooh, and it is the Crunch. That's really rough. Able to, oh no, not able to get the Thunder Punch off in the back. And now it's just Talonflame going down there with barely a HP. And it is now all down to this. Whoever wins this battle is going to be tied victor in this tournament. So we have a really good lead here with Quagsire up against Drapion. If we can get an Earthquake off, that will be huge for us. So we go straight for it, knowing that, hey, even if we don't take out Drapion, we're going to get a shield here. So we do get a shield. So that is all right there. Drapion getting a charge move back in return. Kind of wondering if I should be keeping this Quagsire safe for maybe a later matchup. Get hit by a Crunch. And they swap out into Hypno. So we swap into Snorlax again. Snorlax v Hypno, a pretty good spot to be in. Kind of worried about what other Pokemon they might have because again, the stakes are high here. I want to get this tournament win. Eat an Ice Punch, and we know that we're just going to see straight Ice Punches, just like we've seen before. And we actually, unfortunately, time our Body Slam wrong there, and we let them get a full Confusion off for free. Pretty unfortunate, but we do get the Body Slam off there, and we try and get one more before getting hit, and we do, luckily. I think at this point we're going to let Snorlax go down, and presumably, so then we can get a bit of an advantage onto whatever we bring in. Although Hypno's getting pretty low, so we could actually decide to burn the shield. That we don't let the Ice Punch come through. We can tank it, one more lick, and down it goes. That confusion damage not registering. And here's Alolan Raichu in the back, so, you know, just knowing like, hey, you're not going to be able to take me out. Snorlax is way too low for this. We bring in Quagsire, farm up some energy, and we see them swap into Drapion, so we have the charge move ready to go. We're really just hoping that we can land that onto Raichu later on, and here is Talonflame, not where it wants to be at all, up against that Aqua Tailing Drapion. First Aqua Tail gets shielded. We still have to burn a shield from their side, so we go for the Flame Charge here. Again, we overtapped. We hit another Incinerate before we threw the Flame Charge. That means that Incinerate would have done more damage. They actually let that go through, thinking that Raichu is going to be their saving grace. We do get the Flame Charge off here, which is hopefully going to burn their last shield. And then it is all going to be down to Quagsire being able to get its charge move off in the back. They actually, really luckily for us, burn their shield here, burn their energy here. So it's not going to quite take out Talonflame, but one more Volt Switch will. We have the Stone Edge, so we need to tap it straight away, and we do get there. Even if they got their charge move off, we still had one shield, we would have been able to take it, and just in the nick of time, able to take out Alolan Raichu, and with that, we're able to take out the entire tournament. Well, you know, not the entire tournament. Obviously, we did lose that one round. It's a tied victory with Hitter Chicken, Quest 2 Master, who was the one who beat us, and then Trap Pain and Decoy as well. So really awesome tournament. Thank you to JigglyDad for hosting it. I'm going to leave a link to JigglyDad's Discord in the description below if you do want to go check that out. Also, I think probably about 8 hours or so, actually probably less. At some point, I'm going to link to a tweet in the description below as well. Then I'm going to talk about, I'm going to be going live a little bit later with the Go Stadium analysts, and we're going to be talking about the Prismatic Cup there, kind of talking about how to, a bit more in depth about how to build your teams. Obviously, you know, you could just like steal a team like this one, but that's obviously not going to, it's not going to go as well for you as you might hope, because I stole Dr. Trotter's team in another tournament and I instantly went 0-2. So, stealing teams doesn't always work, but sometimes it does, and that is the lesson of the day. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well, including Jacksplatoo, who I did manage to get on the graphic this time. They weren't on the graphic in the last video, I believe, but we did get them on this time, so shout out to Jacksplatoo, the newest patron. And yeah. Thanks for watching, and also if you do not catch that Go Stadium live stream, I'm going to have it up on the YouTube channel as well 24 hours after the live stream ends, because that's like the Twitch affiliate rules. So yeah, that'll be here, and I will see you in the next video. Not sure what that's going to be, or I guess the Go Stadium thing, but after that, who knows what it's going to be, so I will see you then regardless.